Heartiest welcome to Global Talk Show by Business Power Academy, Netherlands. And today on this global platform, we are going to witness an amazing, incredible journey of Dr. Bob Choat. Welcome, Dr. Bob, to our show. It's a great pleasure hosting you today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today.
Well, this journey is going to be super amazing because we are going to take a number of key takeaways, whether it's coaching, mentoring, or training. And we are going to take a deep dive in the lovely journey of Dr. Bob. So starting my show, and I would love to know, Dr. Bob, your incredible, inspiring, and so motivating your life journey.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I've have had just a lot of wonderful experiences throughout my many decades on this earth, and then meeting some amazing people and learning from each one, and starting with my own mother, who was my very first martial arts teacher, and I've been in martial arts, and I'm still training in the martial arts even to this day. But she started me just right at the beginning when I was about 18 months old, putting a stick in my hand and teaching me kendo. And then I lived in Okinawa from age 5 to age 8. I studied Goju, which is a form of Okinawan karate. And then I trained with my Uncle Keiji in Japan. He's both a master in kendo and judo. And he goes back to original Kodokan, training with Kano, the founder of judo, and all the way continuing to this day. And I just love that in terms of my foundation, the discipline that it's given me, the focus, and even the area of confidence in terms of my own life. So I continue those lessons, and I continue carrying the learnings as well. And then I applied it in terms of many other things in my life. I spent 8 years in the Marines, and I was a 17-year-old grunt, which is infantry. And then I was indoctrinated in Force Recon. So I was with First Force Recon. So I don't know, have you ever heard of Force Recon? No. So in the United States Marine Corps, it's our own form of a special forces type of unit. So that was an interesting, but it's more of learning, working with other people towards missions. So I learned to become a mission-oriented person throughout my life, focusing on the primary mission in terms of my own personal mission. So I carry those learnings as well. So after the Marines, I joined the Los Angeles Police Department. I was there for about 5 years as a police officer here in the Los Angeles area of California. And then since then, I've been doing various kind of things, from running my own businesses, multiple businesses, to teaching women self-defense. I've been a bodyguard, executive protection specialist, and then later on getting into the coaching arena, but also ended up getting my master's in psychology, my first PhD in clinical psychology, my second one in neuropsychology, did a postdoc in neuroscience, and I continue learning. I love to learn. I love to read. You can see I have a few books, but I have over 12,000 books in my own personal library of physical books. So I have acquired mentors. Back here, you can see a picture of Coach Sean Wooden. And I learned from him back in the mid-90s when I was on a board of directors of an education foundation, and spent 30 minutes learning from him in terms of his life, like what I'm explaining to you. So he told me in about 30 minutes some of the principles of his life, and how he was able to take the UCLA basketball team and turn them into a championship basketball team, winning 10 championships out of 10 in a 12-year period, which has not been done since here in the United States. So it's pretty amazing. And I've met some wonderful people along the way during this journey, like I said earlier, and even people that I've been able to coach and mentor, like Dr. Sophie Nubani. She's an amazing young gal, and I just want to wish her a happy birthday today. So anybody that's watching, just want to say, yes, Sophie, happy birthday. So that's pretty much in a nutshell, just a quick overview. I mean, I can go deeper into each part, but I just want to give it a quick overview.
Wow, this is so wonderful, Dr. Bob. Yes, the books are the great witness, which I can see, and my global audience too. Your journey full of knowledge and full of passion. And then when you said about the defense, it was really a new era, you can say, a new turning point. So thank you so much for enlightening me and my global audience with your inspiring life journey. And I'm sure people watching this video, this session, would be getting a lot of inspiration from your life journey, and they would love to be your coachee or a mentee in future. So awesome one. Well,
Thank you.
Dr. Bob, I'm sure to this level of success, you can say a height of success, where you are today. And when you said the mentor of Dr. Sophie, so I am so amazed and astonished. I'm sure in your life, you would have crossed n number of challenges, which has made you today a very strong man. So I would love to know what kind of challenges you have faced in your life. So kindly enlighten those challenges. And the most important thing, how did you overcome those challenges?
Yeah, so a lot of people do face challenges and various things that basically may set things in terms of their own path and so forth. Yet there's other people that will hold on to the scars and so much more that stops them from being able to move forward. And in my own case, I've had the challenges in terms, especially during my youth, but even later on. And I can recall one time being on my grandparents' farm in the Ozarks here in the United States. So the Ozarks, you probably heard about hillbillies and everything like that. So on my grandparents' farm, well, as a young guy, I was walking on this wet log, and I carried this coffee can. Now, back in the day, the coffee cans used to open. They had a key. You open up on the outside, and it had a sharp edge around. So I kept some toys and everything like that, and I was carrying it, and I slipped and fell onto the coffee can. It split right in my forehead, all the way up into my scalp. It just split open. You can even see, like, I don't
My
know.
God.
I have a slight scar still right here, and
Yes, yes, I can
so
see
it
that.
was stitched up. Now, a lot of people who watch the old movie of Frankenstein and Frankenstein's monster, he had a scar on his forehead, and so I had the scar on my forehead, being a young boy, and I carried around that scar, and I would be called names and everything like that. And it looked kind of freaky because I was compared to Frankenstein in 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 terms of that scar. And then on that same farm, not long after this, I was standing next to my grand mother's stove, and she had a skillet full of hot grease inside there, and it was accidentally knocked over. It spilled onto my right thigh all the way down. So I ended up getting burned with third-degree burns. So now I had another scar on my thigh, and here I am, a young boy still, carrying around this scar, and even like going swimming. So I had this really ugly looking scar. So those are just two of the scars. Now we hold emotional scars with inside us. So I had this physical scar that created these emotional tensions. And through the years, I learned that it's not these scars that make me. It's me that makes me. Now I had to learn, uh, especially like certain things, and going back to my martial arts and so much more, that okay, how can I become even better? And 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 really showcasing what I truly am, where these physical scars, people are just going to overlook them. And over time, people didn't even really care about these physical scars. Even on my thigh, which I hated to go swimming because it showed. Always wore pants until I got to junior high, and I joined a swim team, and I started swimming, and people could see my scars, and I didn't really care. And eventually, I was a lifeguard at one time, and over time, the scars started going away. The one on my thigh, you can't see it anymore. It's kind of like disappeared. So this one is still here slightly, but it's not like it used to be. And in a sense, I come to embrace those scars as kind of endearing to me instead of something that was bad. And uh, so we think about, like, how can we transform those scars or the challenges we face in life? And I've gone through that as well. Being on certain missions when I was in the Marines, uh, they were highly challenging, and I learned to overcome those kind of challenges versus these physical scars and everything like that. And I go back to the foundation of what I've been able to do and what I've learned and the lessons, and 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 even going prior to mission, I trained hard just like I did in martial arts, and training with a team. We train twice as hard for our missions than the actual mission. And I teach people that if you get out, and if you want to do something, do as much you can to train for what you want to do. Make your mistakes. And if you make a mistake, now in combat, you don't want to make mistakes, because so you want to train and make the mistakes during training, then you get out there. But in our everyday life, we're going to make mistakes. We're going to fall down like I did here. And I continue to fall down. By the way, I've been doing parkour for over 15 years. If you know what parkour is, you see these young kids going over obstacles off of buildings and everything like that. So I've been doing that. I started that in my 50s, and all the way to my age now, doing the same kind of thing. But I did 10 years ago, I had a major parkour fail. When I say that, I continue to fall down. I did a a parkour jumping from a rail to another rail, and I accidentally hit the rail, went over, and I face slammed into concrete. So my nose was broken, everything like that. So yeah, that was in April of 2013. So I still make my mistakes. So what do I have to do? I get back up and evaluate where where did I go wrong? What was a mistake? And I learned that I wasn't focused. So it's important that whenever we do something wrong, what can you learn from it? And and step back. So embrace the mistake as a teacher, because you will be making mistakes. We all do. There's no such thing as as being perfect all the time. Because if you're perfect, you're not going to go anywhere anyway. I never knew anybody that uh, built anything amazing by uh, always being at that perfect level. It just doesn't happen. They make mistakes along the way, all the time. So I embrace that. That's part of my learning throughout this thing of my life. is that, yeah, I'm going to make mistakes. I also will learn from those that have made mistakes and overcome. So I continue to learn through people's biographies, and then I go out there and I'll see, okay, how can I apply what their learnings in my own life? Now, it doesn't always fit perfectly, so I'm going to make a mistake, and then I will uh, extract that and evaluate, okay, how could I done it and make it work for me, not just what worked for another person. Because one person's success doesn't mean it translates into you. Just like uh, Bruce Lee, when Bruce Lee was creating his martial arts Jeet Kune Do, he says Jeet Kune Do is is not just like following that, what he did and what worked for him, because his body's different, his mindset's different. But what he did, he took what worked for him and discarded the rest. And that's what he wanted to teach us, that we take what works for us and then discard the rest. So find that within your own life in terms of what you do, and you will overcome the obstacles and challenges that you face.
Dr. Bob, I am speechless after listening these challenges. I mean, when you got the hurt and you got the scars, but still you went on and experimenting with your life, but you never gave up. So this is the thing which everybody should learn to move forward in life and to explore great experiences, because nobody can teach you well rather than your own experiences. And I love your experience, because when anything happened wrong to you, you took a lesson, you evaluated what should I do next time and what should I don't repeat the next moment. And you took it as a challenge that most of the people will be taking as a problem. And when in life you will take problems and challenges, those varied varieties, you will come to know what exactly you have to do in life. So my global audience, kindly focus and mark these lines. You have to evaluate yourself. You have to constantly and consistently giving yourself a feedback from any incident happening in your life. And that's what we can see in Dr. Bob's life. Incredible journey. And the challenge is really, really great when you have a physical scar. That is not most important than your own willpower, and you will never ever give any chance for people to say something, and you will keep moving forward. So hats off to you, Dr. Bob. You really inspired us. And there are so many people who have got physical scars and they're still, under frustration. Why it happened to me? Rather, I will say only one thing. When your willpower is strong, you can do anything in this world, no matter how many scars you are having, whether it is emotional scar or physical scar. So thank you so much for this loveliest and rocking answer. And you have inspired today millions who are watching this show live. Well,
Thank you.
thank you so much. Well, Dr. Bob, we can see a lot of books, and those books are saying me something. Kindly enlighten now your coaching work, because you have a great, great profile in terms of coaching, mentoring. So do enlighten our global audience, your great work in coaching industry, and we would love to listen to that.
Yeah. So one of the things I will work with people and find where they really want to go. You see, I believe that people have within them a creativity that they don't even realize, and that needs to be unleashed, and that's part of the coaching process. So I have a person paint or imagine where they really want to go. So I have them like, okay, this is what you want to be within 5 years, or even a year from now. So we just narrow the time frame. So start with the end in mind, and Stephen Covey talks about that as well. And then I want people to be realistic from where they are now. what is the current reality? Because this is important. If you fluff up your reality, if it's not real, then you won't know the actual gap to where you want to be and where you're at. So they have to understand that they have this gap. And once they understand their current reality and where they want to be, and when I say where they want to be, or where they want to be, they have to be absolutely clear. They have to be as clear as me and you talking and seeing each other right now, and looking at your surroundings right now. So they have to be able to see that 1 year or 5 years into the future, or whatever time frame that you're giving yourself, that you want to reach or that you want to create. So remember, I said create. So when you know where you're at, your current reality, and imagine this like a block of stone, like an artist would have, and the artist uh, would have, let's say it's marble, and the artist sees what's inside the marble, but the current reality for that artist, or the sculptor, is that they have this block of marble. So he has to have certain tools. The tools, he starts chipping away to get to uncover what's inside that marble. So when you look at 1 year from now, what you want to uncover, what you want to create, but your reality is that unfinished block of marble. So now you need tools. So as a coach, I give you the tools that you use. I'm not going to be using, but I'm going to help to guide you to use those tools that you can start to uncover and then get to where you want to be. So you're creating this light step by step by step. And and so that's the basic process that I use to help people to get to from where they're at, their current reality, to where they want to be, and by using a set of tools that will allow them to get there.
This is really great, Dr. Bob. And here I would like to draw attention of my global audience. Dr. Bob is a transformational grandmaster. That's what I have learned. And he's a great coach. So start leveraging the power of coaching if you want to flourish in your life, in your career, especially in the coaching industry. So here is the key for all your questions. So kindly contact Dr. Bob and make your life meaningful and successful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, Dr. Bob, I would like to ask one thing, that what is the mission of your life?
Yeah. So my mission, and by the way, it's shifted from when I was younger, because I've learned quite a bit. So my own personal mission is to help people realize their own dreams, their own purpose, especially. I I love people to have a purpose-driven life, because purpose is what gives us the fuel. So my mission is to help people to find that purpose, for them to realize it, and to discover their own personal mission, so they can move forward and build their lives in the best possible ways, that will also have a profound effect on people around them. So I look at it as, if you remember the old adage, if you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day, but if you teach him how to fish, you feed him for life. My goal is to not only to teach him how to fish, but to teach him how to teach others how to fish, so you can feed the whole world. That's in a nutshell my mission.
This is really great one to know your mission and vision. And I congratulate you for having a great mission. Sorry for excusing my voice. Well, before I say goodbye to my lovely audience and to Mr. Dr. Bob, we would love to know your powerful message to my global audience.
Yeah. So I would like everybody to, number one, know who you are. Because if you know who you truly are, and you can start to move forward. So that's really important. And and become a learner. Because one of the things I learned is that we can only grow by continuously learning throughout our life. And number three, put into action that which you learn. So whether it's from a book, from a course, from other people, learn, read that book. I tell people to read a book 3 times. So the first time when you read a book is that you're just going to be a cursory, and then the second time you're going to find the tidbits where you can start to put stuff into action, the lessons. And the third time you're going to assimilate it. So as you take those learnings, you're going to get to the point of mastery in terms of assimilating. So those 3 things, again, uh, just yeah, just you will become the best possible person that you could become in this life just by doing that.
Wow, this is really amazing, Dr. Bob. The kind of enlightenment from your life journey, from your challenges, which says to move forward at any condition. Never ever give up on your dreams. And there are so many key takeaways to our audience today. So thank you so much for coming to our
You're welcome.
show and enlightening us every single moment of our life. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, my global audience, for always constantly and consistently loving us. Keep doing that. Stay happy. Hail and hearty. Bye-bye for now.